Welcome back to Time by the Tent podcast. I'm Joey Baird.
I'm Holly Baird.
There you go. You know who you are. Yeah.
Hello. I can't hear myself.
Oh, there you go.
Hello. I'm Holly Baird.
Yes. Thank you for taking time to watch the program on our YouTube channel, Time by the Tent, or downloading the program. We're going to talk about, in this segment, making the land in which you've bought your own. Now, that seems kind of counterintuitive. Yeah, I bought land. Why wouldn't I make it my own?
I don't know why you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you make it your own?
Well, we're going to talk about some of the ways we're going to utilize the land in which we've purchased and how we can customize it and take what is raw land and how we can conform it into more of a usable land for our purposes. So what is the purpose of our purchasing land? It is to hunt. It is to camp. It is to hike. So with that being said, this is 40 acres of absolutely raw, thick forest land, pine forest in most of it. So in order to create a way of changing it or utilizing it for the best of our ability is we're going to have to create trails in it. Now, the trails will hold twofold in this application. One, so we can walk through and observe the property. But secondly, it will create travel lanes because animals travel in the path of least resistance, or create funnels for potential areas of tree stands or hunting because the deer or turkeys or whatever animals are going to funnel in those least resistant pathways. So then we can set up, not baiting them, which is illegal in most states, but providing just the natural funnel for them and then taking advantage of what we've created. We've gotten 40 acres, which is 1 square mile of forest land. So there can be a lot of trails around the perimeter or through, or different ways of being creative in that manner.
Absolutely. And also it just provides a fun project because I want to map out the trails. And I'm kind of a map nerd, geography nerd. So it's something that would be fun. And then at some point, our niece and nephew can come to the land and we can have a map and, hey, where are we going to go today? So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, this is in the North Woods of Wisconsin, so that is black bear country. So we have prepared ourselves. We've looked and researched and understood and read about how to protect ourselves from bears, what to do, what not to do, bear and the behavior of black bears. And they are most times more scared of you than you are of them. Right.
So we are very well aware of bears, but let's talk about how we're going to make the land our own.
Well, we make our land our own by protecting ourselves while on the land.
That makes sense.
So we have purchased firearms, sidearms, in which are designed to take care, to dispatch a bear if a bear is approaching in an aggressive manner. We've taken care of that. So that's one way to make the land your own, be safe on your land. People may choose to use bear spray. The disadvantage to bear spray, which is just a giant canister of mace or pepper spray, is the wind has to be in your favor, blowing towards the bear, and you have to be within so many feet of that bear. With a handgun, it doesn't matter which way the wind is blowing. And with a handgun, you have several opportunities to dispatch that bear if it continues to come at a distance that's farther away than what you need for the bear spray. And, in that situation, you don't, with the firearm, you don't have to sit there and go, okay, is the wind blowing in my face, or can I spray this bear, or what's going to happen here? You can just take the firearm out and use it.
Right. So that's one thing that we've done. We've done a little bit of other research on bears and kind of how to keep them away and not adding things like bird seed to our land to feed the birds, even though that would be lovely. We don't want to attract the bears to our land in that case. And then also things like Joey learned that bears don't like the smell of pine sol. So I'm assuming that's true. And
we're going to try
that. And just being aware of these bears possibly being around. But bears don't like people, so hopefully that just keeps them away in general.
So making the land your own, if you're camping on it or you're going to build a residence on it or like a cabin on it, that's one way. Are you going to utilize the wood on the property or are you going to import wood? If you have a tent, are you going to use it only a certain number of months out of the year until the heavy snow falls and you'll disassemble it and pack it up? Bathrooms and trash, what are you going to do on those? Are you going to take the trash out? Are you going to create an area for a little burn pit so you're not tracking the trash back home, but you're doing it far enough away from the campsite that it wouldn't impede if a animal does come to investigate the smells that was in the burn pit? And I would advise if you are going to do that you can either do a 55-gallon drum like the old timers would do, burn trash in a 55-gallon drum, or do it in a pit, 2 or 3 foot diameter pit, about 2.5 foot deep, and then after everything burns, put a little more dirt on top of it. So it's out of the way and you don't have the eyesore of this barrel, but you're not tracking the trash back in your vehicle hour, 2 or 3 hours back home. You can just dispose of it right away.
So then there's the fun things like maybe some sort of creative lighting, whether that be like string lights, LED lights,
lanterns.
LED lanterns, yeah, even kerosene. Yes. Lanterns, floodlights are an option. I don't like a lot of strong overhead lights, so I don't think I'm too concerned about floodlights.
But you want ambient light to see, one, where you're going in or outside of the tent, and 2, you can have enough light if you are outside of the tent around the campfire that when you get up, your eyes are not in such a focus or a adjustment procedure that you can see what's coming, or if you hear a noise you can turn around and actually might be able to see a raccoon or a possum coming into camp, which there will be those.
Right, absolutely. Especially squirrels are just loud. I don't know. They're like the loudest
A deer can be 200 pounds and you don't even know what's behind you. One squirrel is 2 miles away and you think it's a whole forest coming, running down, and you think it's that 55 deer going to get underneath your stand.
It's just I don't understand how they're the smallest animal, not the smallest, but next to one of the smallest frequented forest animals, and they're just so loud.
Making the land your own, are you going to hunt on it? If that is the case, do you know the requirements, the regulations, the time in which you're allowed to hunt in your particular state, in your particular part of the state, in your particular zone? States are oftentimes broke up in regions or zones. One is some zones are allowed to hunt sooner or later than others, so you want to make sure that you follow all the recommended rates, all the recommended requirements, and have the proper permits in order to do this correctly, because you don't want to be that person that buys land and then doesn't know doesn't have the correct permits, and then because the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources officers, they don't have to have a reason to walk on your property. If they think that you are hunting, they have the right to access your property to check your permit and weapon to make sure you're following all of your state or local laws in order to do it safely and protect not only yourself, but the wildlife in which you are hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's life in the big city, or I guess not in the big city. So there's lots of ways to personalize your land, or even something maybe security. Even something like you mentioned the toilet.
Yes.
Even like a shower type thing, or a place to clean up, wash up.
Shower pad.
Yeah, shower pad. Things like that.
So yeah, security, whether you have the ability to have electricity, or if it has no electricity, whether you're using some type of cellular trail cam. One of the deterrents that may be most beneficial is having a sign that says under video surveillance, whether you have it or not. Sometimes people whom are interested in trespassing think twice when they see a sign like that, because typical security on property that is wooded, you can't see the camera like you can in the corner of Walmart. Right.
That's very true. And there's like these, I I don't know, camouflage.
Yeah,
cams, things like that. And everything is so small these days because of technology. Like, you don't even know a camera. Also, just because maybe you're walking land and you don't physically see somebody, there's human camouflage too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how far, and whenever you're setting up for a permanent tent or structure, the proper distance of a campfire away from it to keep embers from flying up in the air and landing on the structure or the tent. You want to keep a safe distance. You want to be aware of that. Keep things in, if you have food and you're in bear country, to do that properly at the correct times of years, to store it correctly at night when you are going to try to sleep and not want to wake up next to Smokey in your tent.
Right, yeah, things like that. Being smart about the wildlife that could come looking.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to customize your land, and there's things about bathroom, shower, security, surveillance, knowing what is beyond your property, where is not only and that kind of goes full circle, customizing your property to make it what your dream is, but also kind of knowing what's around your property too. Do you have neighbors that are not the nicest? Or do you have neighbors that you watch out for their property and they watch out for your property, and you both have, you swap numbers and, hey, everything's good, just was up here this weekend, your property looks fine, your tent looks great, just want to let you know, that type of thing. That's the neighbors you want.
But also with caution that they're not too neighborly.
Right, but it doesn't hurt to, if you've bought a new piece of property, introduce yourself if they are present. Hey, we bought this property. We're your neighbors. Just want to introduce ourselves. Blah blah blah. And so you're not. So you both know that neither one of you. So you both know that you're both supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
No, just make it your own.
Make it your own.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.